It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and Cork the Kid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom. For movies, comics, TV shows, video games, we got you covered. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, with Court. And Court, we're doing our first movie review since July?
Yeah, July of 1985. It's been a while.
It does feel like 1985, to be honest.
Great year.
I wouldn't know. But yeah, so we're back. We're doing reviews and such. If you haven't heard, the strikes, both the writer strike and actor strikes, have concluded. They came to new terms, and you can find out all the details about that in our other episode, because this is strictly a review episode. We're getting back to basics, and we're going to talk about what else? The MCU. We're going to talk about the Marvels.
Because we're shills.
Yes. Can't help. We need that content.
We need that content. We need the views.
And Marvel gave us that content.
They did.
With the sequel to Captain Marvel, which is also a mismatch, and a sequel to both WandaVision and Ms. Marvel, which I think is endemic of the current problem in which Marvel finds itself. But first and foremost, just a few things. So obviously the headlines have been rampant over the last week with the release of this movie. It's officially going to be the worst box office opening that Marvel's ever had. Not the worst reviewed movie Marvel's ever had by any stretch. I think it's actually being reviewed quite well. It's just not performing well for a multitude of reasons. One of which is, something that we touched upon with Ant-Man Quantumania was kind of like the last thing. And Guardians also served as like an example of this, where like you can't really get by on just stuff that's fine. And I think that's where this movie kind of falls, is it's fine. I liked it quite a bit. It's not like the best movie of all time. It's not the best Marvel movie of all time. But in terms of like the movies that they have come out with over the last handful of years, it's probably like right in the middle. I would say like probably Guardians 3, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. What else is kind of like in that upper echelon? So
are we talking from just from the multiversal saga? Is that what we're talking? Or are we talking just the last 2 years?
I'd say maybe like the multiversal, like maybe from like Black Widow on.
Yeah, I mean from Black Widow on. I mean, I'd probably place this around the middle as well. I mean, I have a definitive love for the Eternals that nobody else has, I guess. So I have that pretty high on my list. But I mean, seriously speaking, I mean, you look at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think it's one of the best movies they've ever done. I personally think it's in the top 3 movies that they've ever produced, and what they should be the most proud of. Shang-Chi is a hidden gem in my opinion, one that I think needs to be talked about more and more. Really incredible movie right there. I mean, if you look at the landscape of the entire MCU, I have my ranking right here. I have it towards like the lower half of the middle. And I said something before too, and I said, if this movie came out from 2014 to 2019, I think this movie would be, I think it would be fine. Like, I think people would really be enjoying it. And I just think it's because the state of which this movie came out in. This movie came out during one of the major strikes in Hollywood history. It also came out right after the infamous article, which we're going to touch upon as well. But this movie had a lot going against it. I mean, people's unwarranted disdain for Brie Larson. The fact that it's 3 women head in this movie, like this movie was going up against, a titanous uphill battle, and the fact that it came out on the other side with above an 80% audience score is truthfully all you should be worried about too. So I think this is a fun movie. I mean, if we can hop right into it, it's fun. It's not one of my favorites, but I think it serves exactly what it needs to do. This movie supersedes the Black Adam thinking of it. And I guess I'm spoiling a little bit if I'm thinking post-credit scene without saying anything just yet, but there's so much to like in this movie, and I think the main things that you want. And I think what made the Infinity Saga run really well is you go through character. And I think this movie understands you go through character. And, if that means Iman Vellani gets to, play in the sandcastle for a while, she gets to play in the sandcastle because she's great. She's fun. She's charismatic. Give her whatever she wants because she's the energy infection that you needed desperately at this point. I love Teyonah Parris's ruggedness. I think that's my favorite thing about her character, how tough she is. She's a tank, and when we talk about this movie, you're going to know exactly what we mean. And, again, I think Brie Larson is a brilliant actress, and she has the accolades to back it up in her career. She has the awards. She has she has the hardware to back it up. And, the way they write Captain Marvel in this universe, like I said, it is an uphill battle for her, and she has had that doubt about playing this character, due to backlash that is unwarranted. So I think she's solid in this movie too. So
this is the best she's been.
Yeah, there's no doubt around that too. I think even to go further, I think this is the most comfortable she's been, and I think she did need other people around her as well too.
Yep. I totally agree with that. I mean, it's a double-edged thing where like it's kind of a knock that obviously this serves as a sequel to Ms. Marvel and WandaVision to some extent, but also without those two characters, this movie wouldn't have worked.
No. I think this movie's a whole lot less personal. And, launching in a little bit, I mean, the POV character of this movie is Ms. Marvel. She is the character that you're supposed to kind of follow around. Because, if you look about, the landscape of how this movie's structured, you're kind of introduced through her first. Like, she's the one that's in her room first. And there's a reason for that. A, it's because of Iman Vellani. B, because she's probably the most relatable out of the three of us. The three of those characters, too. I know one of the complaints for Miss Marvel where people can relate. And I always say, you never went through an awkward phase in high school. Like, that never happened. It happened to everybody. She is out of the three of them, she's not this, ace level pilot turned, tank of a superhero. She's not this mother of, a pilot that turned into, this cool, secret agent, superhero. No, she's some kid from some city, not some city, but she's a kid from a city that's going through this, transformative time in her life that just discovers more about herself too. Like, that's relatable. Her family dynamic as well is really incredible. Obviously Blue Beetle came out during the strike. But those two that show and that movie really understood the family dynamic, and why I love the fact that, like, most superhero things are like, don't tell the family until they have to find out. Like, it's integral to their plots that the family know, and it's integral to this plot as well, and it works a lot.
I was kind of surprised with how much the Khan family was in this movie.
They are in this movie. They're in this movie. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, not jumping too far ahead, but probably my favorite quote line in the movie comes from Kamala's mother near the end of the movie when we'll talk about it when she says what she says to her, and I was like, wow, that was that was a really powerful moment. Deep. It invoked a lot of those same feelings that I got at the end of Ms. Marvel when she has that conversation with her dad, like that kind of similar theme to it about, like, you were chosen for a purpose, and like, even though like we're worried about you, like, we're still going to let you, like, fulfill that purpose because we believe in you. And I'm like, wow, okay, this movie's got a little something. And I think that's one of my overall not major complaints, but like one of my minor gripes with the movie is that they presented a lot of interesting kind of concepts and didn't hit them hard enough. So,
I mean, to even go further into that point, I think it was a sacrificial understanding of that whole point that you just made, because I think what you get is, I don't even like to use Eternals because I think a lot of the ideals in Eternal were flushed out, but I think that's what some people's issues were. And this is the whole, idea that you can't please everybody. You just won't. So do you do the Eternals thing where you do go full flesh into a lot of the ideas, you sacrifice a little bit of action, but you get depth, and then people will then go on to call your movie boring? Or do you have this where your movie is fast paced, it feels action scene to action scene, but then people say your movie lacks depth? Like, which one do you pick? Yeah. So, and speaking of that, I mean, there are movies that transcend that, and I mean, this goes back to our whole point where the days of us just being able to get okay superhero movies it's over. Like, how I think about this is this as well. And I mean, I can attest to this because I physically grew up with the MCU. I physically was a child when the MCU started, and I'm an adult when the MCU is now into this new phase. I was a kid when Iron Man 1 came out. I was 2008. I was 11 when that movie came out. I was 10 when that movie came out, maybe 9, 10 when that movie came out. So thinking about it this way, I grew up. And I also grew up to love movies, to love film, and to want to work on films. You know, not everybody's like that, but a lot of people are in this realm where they're growing up and they start to get smarter and smarter and understand more and more. So those movies that you were having with all these kids that were growing up, just being enthralled by this universe that's so expansive and so extensive with these point of view characters that are so compelling. And then you get here and then, you know, some of your movies don't have good production value. People are smarter now. They're going to start to catch on to some of these things. So now, do I think the Marvels is in that realm of mediocrity? Absolutely not. I think it's absurd to think it's compared to some of the other movies over the last couple of years. I wouldn't even put it close to Ant-Man 3. I wouldn't put it close to Thor 4. I think it's right probably where Black Widow is. That's probably where I would rank it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at... I don't have the Marvels, like, in my ranking, but I have movies kind of, like, in that 18 to 23 range. So I have Spider-Man Far From Home, Multiverse of Madness, first Doctor Strange, first Captain America, Iron Man 2, Ant-Man. I think the Marvels probably fits right around there. And, you know, again, when we did the episode where we kind of, like, itemized our Marvel list, like... It feels low to say like 18 through 20, but like
those
movies are also good.
Right.
Like it speaks to the quality of like the movies like I have before it. So like I have, you know, first Avengers up there, Shang-Chi, Guardians 2, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Iron Man, Avengers Endgame, Wakanda Forever, Civil War, like all the way up the list. Like those movies are like, you know, 5-star movies. Like you're probably getting like 4 to 5-star movies, like 16 movies deep into these lists, so like that kind of speaks to the quality overall. And this is MCU
specific. This isn't like we're not ranking these against, you know, Goodfellas. Right. You know what I mean? Like this is MCU encompass it. Now there are movies in here which I think exceed that. And you know what's funny about the Multiversal Saga? I think the Multiversal Saga has a bunch of movies that I really think are actual, just really well made movies. But again, what people's ask is the connective tissue that they're not getting, and that's where a lot of the anxiety from this phase is coming from.
Yeah. And then, you know, this movie, like you said, it's, you know, I think one of the best things going for it is the runtime. I think the fact that it's this kind of like hour and 40-minute shot of adrenaline really works for it.
I think Brie Larson also needed to operate in that time too. And, you know, having these interaction with these characters too, like I said, you are sacrificing a little bit of, you know, I'd hate to say you're sacrificing story. You're just sacrificing emotional bit with the other characters because, you know, once we start talking about the plot of this movie, I mean, a big plot point is, you know, the relationship between Carol and Monica, and it is a stray. And, you know, I wish we would have spent a little bit more time with that. And again, I think you made an incredible point about what this movie lacks is in that runtime. It is that, you know, should we just get away from, you know, staying bogged down with them because they know the criticism behind these characters?
Yeah, and I mean, that conflict gets wrapped up pretty quickly.
I wouldn't even say quickly because it is at the beginning of the third act, but I would say it's...
well, because it's not really addressed much. And then they kind of address it, and then it's more like Carol, like, oh, sorry.
And then, again, story structure-wise, it feels like we have to get into this last fight scene, so let's get this pushing.
Yeah. And, you know, there was an element of... I guess we could just spoil the movie now. So, spoilers from here on out. Overall, I would say it's pretty good. If it's a good... Again, the runtime really works for it. An hour and 40 minutes is not a huge chunk of your day, so I'd recommend seeing this in theaters.
Yeah, I think it's fast paced. The action scenes blend well together. Samuel L. Jackson's hilarious, which we're gonna have to get into because we're gonna have to address the secret invasion in the room for him as well. But you know, I think it is a solid culmination for these three characters. They work really seamlessly together. Nia DaCosta as well. Obviously, the argument for any Marvel director that steps in that's already established is what's theirs and what's Kevin's. And what I think is hers, I think she handles really well, and I think she has she already has a bright future that she's in. I just think she has a stratosphere that she can hit. And she's a Last of Us fan. And Final Fantasy fan.
Yes, she
Go
is.
watch Nia DaCosta in some of those interviews. She seems like incredible people. So.
Yeah. So spoilers from here on out. I mean, I guess not the biggest spoiler, but the first thing that we can talk about, spoiler wise, that we, coincidentally, maybe not so coincidentally enough, didn't talk about at all, in the last 15 minutes is the villain. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for that. And the reason for that is it's, again, it's been a Marvel problem for quite a number of these movies.
I mean, it's been a Marvel problem since probably 2010.
Yeah, it's the villain's not great. Zawe Ashton does well. I think she's good in it.
I think she has a lot of range as an act. Like I can just tell. Like obviously I haven't seen her in anything that I can think of off the top of my head, but I can just tell she has it in her.
The character's just undercooked.
Yeah, it is. It's severely undercooked. It's by the books. It's serving a purpose. It's not their own person, which I always take issue to.
And this is kind of what I was talking about when I mentioned like there's ideas planted in this movie that they don't dive enough into, and kind of her motivation is a kernel of one of those ideas in the sense that Captain Marvel is revered as this hero, but she only can solve problems one way, and that's just brute force, and just like, I'm gonna attack this thing head on, and she doesn't really think about things outside of herself, and I think that's a really interesting idea, and they don't really hit it hard enough.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something, I mean, if I'm looking at other characters, Sentry would probably have the same thing. I mean, Bruce Banner's the one that pops into your mind, but Carol is cognizant of herself, so, and she's impulsive a little bit. That's her thing.
Well,
and
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, she
literally opens with that.
What I love about her character, one of the traits that I really like, she's very much a person that's like, don't hit me with any pleasantry. What's the thing that needs to be done? So
I'm gonna go solve it.
Like, why are we talking about anything else? Like, what needs to be done? Let's just do it. So again, they're all sulking in Avengers Endgame. She's just like, okay, so where's Thanos?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go kill Thanos. Like, why are you guys all sitting here? Like, I have the Thunder God here. I have the Incredible. Like, why are we sitting here? Let's just go kill him.
Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to kill Thanos. Like, I'm just leaving. So, in this movie, the idea is that the planet Hela that she came from, or Hela, she went to go destroy the Supreme Intelligence, and that's such a good plot thread to pull on from Captain Marvel. I'm going to go destroy, because, perspective is everything. So, from her perspective, from her movie, and that's why you're the hero of your own story, she needs to, and for us as the characters, or as the people that watch this movie, obviously she has to go destroy the Supreme Intelligence. It ruined her life.
Yeah.
However, to the people of Hala, no, the Supreme Intelligence, and and this is why I always like contention points in movies, and why movies shouldn't just flow for the easy way out. She destroyed that planet. Like, she destroyed the very ecosystem of that planet. And what you find out is that Darben was one of the guards that were just guarding a hallway, and she sees Carol, and Carol just hits her with a photon blast that from the ceiling, drops some bricks on her, and that's it. And then she's hellbent on revenge.
Yeah,
that's her character.
It's her origin story.
So,
and it's her story.
That's it.
That's really it.
I mean, if we look at the other landscapes, Malekith, he and Odin had beef from so long ago. Like, I buy that. Give me another one. Just start listing off some of the bottom tier villains.
Oh man, hang on, I gotta
pull up the Marvel ranking.
I gotta go back to my list. Man, Taskmaster.
I mean, Taskmaster again was seemingly killed by why can't I think by almost killed by Natasha. So that's a personal thing.
I mean, yeah. Malekith is obviously like the punching bag.
Exactly. But like I said, him and Odin already had preset beef. That
there was what's his name from Doctor Strange?
Oh, you had Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Maybe this is even worse because I can't remember his name. Maybe that's a bigger symptom. But Caecilius.
Caecilius, yes.
And I guess Caecilius's beef is, him, the Ancient One, is a hypocrite. Like, I can't get all this power, but she can.
I'll throw an interesting one at you, because is it because of the performance or because of the character? Kang in Quantumania.
I mean, I think it's because of the movie itself.
Like, is he a good villain, or is Jonathan Majors just so good that you overlook it?
That's probably option B. It's probably option B. It's obviously the making of that story is not well structured for Kang, and we've already beaten that head over, or beaten whatever the saying is. We haven't done this in a while, but you know what I mean. So I mean,
Mandarin.
I mean,
Iron Man 3 Mandarin.
I thought you meant Wen Wu. I said
no.
He was great. Tony Leung doing anything, I'm happy. So I mean, to reel this back in, the whole point is she might have the least actual beef with the main character for me to be like, wow, you really should go after that person and believe in you. Like, she has the least motivation where I feel anything for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, she has proper motivation,
Sure.
but I don't know if she's like the messenger
Well, I
for
told
that
you,
mission.
she's an NPC. Like, she's the definition of, like, if you're playing a video game, she's the definition of one of the, like, just give me a video game. Like, she's like one of the clickers in the last, like, you're just something that's just in the way.
Which, I mean, there's something to that, and there's something like that can work. But like, the thing about her is like, how did she go from that to like all these people like rallying behind her?
That's what I'm saying. She became like a political figure after this.
It'd be a different story if she was kind of like this guerrilla fighter.
I'll give you this. So because the Marvels is cinema. No, I'm kidding. I'm not, but I am. So, the 2013, The Place Beyond the Pines, Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper. So, Bradley Cooper's character, it's a 3-act structure in that movie, but it's like definitive 3 acts are built. The second act of that movie is Bradley Cooper's character kills Ryan Gosling. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out 10 years ago. One of my favorite movies or 11 years ago. But him being this just beat rookie cop, and then he turned into this absolute political beast at the end of the movie. Like, that's what I guess this is kind of like. Like, she was just this person that was attacked, and then all these people, like, I was just a random person in her crosshairs, and look what she did to me. Look what she did to the Supreme Intelligence. Like, she's the Annihilator is what they call her in this movie.
But like, yeah, again, they never show us that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just all of a sudden is like in charge of the Kree.
Right.
And it's like, how did you get there?
Mm-hmm.
And like, everyone like is like bought in.
And I mean, I think this is a bigger symptom of, and I don't even like to say it like that, because comics are different. Because comics, you can do whatever you want. And there's a comic point that I'm going to get to, which I guess people were complaining about. But it's a cameo that happens midway through this movie that is comic encoded, that people that don't read comics read that as, oh, you just throw anybody in this movie just to have that. Like, that's such a comic thing to do, to have something like that. But, so what is the plot of this movie?
It's that. It's weird to say that like the villain doesn't do anything, but like she's also the impetus for like this whole movie. So she gets the other bangle.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen Ms. Marvel,
we learned what the bangles are.
Yeah,
they're the quantum bands from the you're the quantum bands from Marvel Comics.
Yeah. So she Darben finds the other one, which enables her to open these jump points, these portals.
Right. So the jump points that we've seen them in Avengers Endgame. We've seen them in all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So those jump points were mapped out with the quantum bands millions of years ago. So essentially what happens is Darben is trying to open artificial ones, which big no-no, because it's the very structure of the entire starway of the galaxy. So if you open it, so basically what she's trying to do is she's trying to pull resources from other planets, but she wants to make it personal to Carol, so she's pulling resources from the planets that she cares about.
Great plan, by the way.
That actually is kind of good. Not bad.
Like, if you're talking about like if you're trying to revive a dead world, like great plan. Mm-hmm. Really, really good plan.
Oh, and now I know who the best NPC in that movie is, but yeah. So what happens is Carol goes to investigate. Monica's at Saber. You're Saber from Marvel Comics. You're here. So she goes up and she's full out. Everybody knows she has powers, but she's not a superhero. That's a big point for her character in this movie. She's not, I'm not a hero. I'm not like you guys. I'm just a person that walked through a witch hex. Shout out WandaVision. That's your only call out to WandaVision in this whole thing.
And she says it twice.
Yeah, she does say it twice. If I had a nickel for every time she said it, I'd have 10 cents, but that's just 10 more cents than I thought I'd have.
10 cents too many.
But yes, so Carol touches one of the jump points. Monica touches one of the jump points, and obviously they were made by one of the quantum bands. So Kamala's in the room, and they all switch. That's the whole point of this movie.
Their powers become entangled because they all deal with light-based powers. Mm-hmm. So shut up, idiots who complained about Ms. Marvel's powers changing,
Right.
because it turns out it's quite integral.
That wouldn't work if she was stretchy. that wouldn't play.
She does stretchy things in this.
Well, yeah, especially at the end too.
Yeah, so that's the whole conceit. It paves the way for some really cool action pieces throughout the movie. First of which is in the Khan family home.
And that is definitely Nia DaCosta, I can tell.
Yeah.
I feel like that first action sequence and the last one were definitely Nia's. Like, I feel her imprint over all of that 100%.
And then, we get the meeting of the minds, or the meeting of the heroes at one point, and Kamala Khan obviously is just...
infusion of just absolutely just incredible energy the whole time. She's hilarious. She interacts. I love her and Nick Fury, the Khan family and Nick Fury is really good together. They're super
And she
funny.
has this almost approaching Deadpool levels of awareness of the world, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, because, Monica's got the iPad with, like, of course, like, we're Shield/Saber, like, we have intel on any and every hero, and she's just like, why is it see-through? I can see the other side of it. And she's like, oh, that makes sense. And that plays super, and I love how, like, simple, like, because I thought about it, I was like, somebody probably did just leave that on their couch because they had other things to take care of. Yeah. And now she's doing big things for the universe, but we'll save that for a second.
Yeah. And then we just, the plot just kind of goes from there. It's a pretty, it's a simple plot. I mean, the movie's an hour and 40 minutes. They go up to the space station. They just are chatting. They're like, all right, what's the deal here? What's going on? And then, is it Carol that figures this out? Like, what's going on?
Well, Kamala says, like, well, she's not, because they think, like, they're going to destroy places. She's just like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you just put a bomb or take an army with you? And then Carol's like, oh, she's trying to she needs, and this is, Carol's whole arc in this movie is like, am I the Annihilator or am I not? Like, that's...
Well, and then, it's an interesting piece when we go to the one of the Skrull kind of refugee planets.
Right.
Is the first one that gets attacked.
Emperor Droge from the comics is there.
Yeah.
And also shouted out in Secret Invasion multiple times.
Yep. So we find out that the Skrulls are there, and then Dar-Benn shows up, and we get an assault. It's pretty standard affair.
And then we get our Spider-Man Homecoming, Never Meet Your Heroes bit.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is really good, because you see this arc that I wish they just would have pulled on for Carol. This would have really, I think, resonated her character with a lot more people, is that, Kamala's like, all right, I'm young and naive, so we need to save everybody. And Carol's like, absolutely not. So obviously their powers are entangled. And, Dar-Benn, does her bidding. The planet's starting to get destroyed. She's pulling the atmosphere so that way they can start to breathe on Hala. So, atmosphere's going, and Kamala's like, we need to save everybody. And Carol's like, no, we're going to save who we can and leave. Like, that's the job. And she's just like, you can watch all these people die. And she's like, yep. Like, that's the job. Sorry, kid.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I wish they would have tugged on that a little bit longer, but the movie would have had to have been longer if we were going to do that.
Yeah. And, I mean, they don't tug on it long enough, but they also resolve it in a really cool way, in the sense that, like, they kind of, like, crash land, and then you see, for the first time, like, Carol kind of unravels, where she's like, she kind of has that, like, maybe I'm the monster moment that, like, the Vision has.
Yep. And who gets her reeled back in? It's Monica gets her reeled back in. She's just like, you're not the Annihilator. You shouldn't have left, though. Like, you shouldn't have just closed yourself off from everybody else.
Yeah, and then I think it's Carol says to her, like, I couldn't come back because I didn't want you to see me as the Annihilator, like the monster.
Right, and just
Monica was like, that's why you never came back? Like, that's so dumb.
I just wanted my Aunt Carol back. That's all I wanted. And that little flashback sequence where, inside of the blip when Carol comes back to Earth, when, Maria tells her the cancer's back. She's just like, and what's Carol's immediate response? Nope.
I'm going to punch the cancer.
Obviously she doesn't, but, like, seriously, she's just like, nope, like, absolutely not. It's not back. We'll deal with it. You beat it again. That's exactly who her character is. She's so hard-headed and so stuck in her ways. And then who does she need to get out of it? She needs this team. She needs the team to get out of it. So that planet's destroyed. Obviously, we jumped ahead a bit, but that planet's destroyed. Again, the Secret Invasion tie-up for this movie, which I thought was going to be way more, is just Droge is like, we need a new home. Who's got a bunch of real estate at New Asgard? And Tessa Thompson shows up. Valkyrie shows up. King Valkyrie. And this is the thing where I guess a lot of people didn't like this. I don't see why, because that's such a comic thing to happen, where a character just shows up and does something and leaves.
Doctor Strange does it in Thor Ragnarok.
No, and it's not, and the biggest thing, you don't want to not like actual offense, but narrative offense. There's no narrative offense of this. All she's there, and I love the relationship between her and Carol. Like, it's like that coworker that you're so cool. That's how I played it. Like that coworker you're so cool with. Once you get that Avengers card, it's serious. But she, that's probably the most emotion I saw from Carol up until that point in the movie. Like, she's just like crap. Like this actually went horribly. I can't, like, am I a saver of people? Again, to that point of her, am I a saver of people? Or am I just, am I a survivor that helps people survive? And am I this destroyer of worlds? So, yeah, they leave with Valkyrie. And then plan A, we need to figure out how to use our powers together. B, we need to stop Dar-Ben, because where's she going?
Yeah.
Carol's very, very weird. Did she say that weird? She said that really weird. Iman Vellani, she's great. But Carol's going, they have to go to this, what's the planet called?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. But it's like a water planet that's 96.6% water. That's an oddly specific number, says Monica Rambeau. How do you know that? She's like, no big deal. I'm just the princess of this planet. It's no big deal. So they go down.
Man.
I forget who it is that plays the prince of this planet. I know he's a famous artist.
Oh, it's Park Soo-joon.
Yeah. He was actually pretty funny. Maybe one of my favorite jokes from the movie is he's bilingual. So,
man.
So this whole planet that they go to, that Carol's the princess of, just so you guys know, it's a musical planet, so they only speak in song.
Well, this is the bit. Remember when this movie first, like, the rumbling started that this was going to be a musical?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like,
losing it?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
They still got a musical bit.
Mm-hmm. And it was funny.
It's pretty fun.
You know who was the best in that whole bit? It was Monica was the best in that whole bit. She was incredible the whole time.
Yep, you got a straight up musical bit in the middle of this Captain Marvel movie.
It wasn't aggressive. It went by pretty quick. Like, I thought,
It was pretty aggressive.
But I still think it didn't last long enough for me to be offended by it.
No, it could have, there's a million ways that it could have went terribly. Mm-hmm. Like, they could have stretched that out for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yep. It was literally like 5 minutes.
It's 5 minutes. They do a Disney princess bit where she kind of does like a Cinderella,
But again, this is starting, the MCU at this point is starting to reach like the comic level of awareness. Like, how did just sparkles start going up and she just transforms magic? Like, nobody's asking any questions about anything. Like, I love how normal everything is now.
Yeah.
But they get their new suits. It's time.
And they're both,
they're okay.
I mean, the Spectrum suit's
That's the best one, yeah. And Carol's, I think, it's fine. I think the biggest.
I wish it would have stayed brighter.
Brighter, yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why hers was so muted. Mm-hmm. And then the Ms. Marvel one is just over designed.
Exactly. What I would have done is, leave her in her suit. She didn't need to change anything. I don't think.
Well, they gave her the magic scarf.
What was that? What was that?
They gave her the Indiana Jones.
That's what I was going to say.
They gave her an Indiana Jones whip.
That was something. No mask, too. I wish she would have kept the mask, but I'm just nitpicking.
She'll probably get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think she's just going to get her old suit back. And again, this movie is really action sequence to action sequence, so launches right into the end of the second act, I guess, action sequence. I really like Monica's power set. I think she is probably... I'm going to probably spoil... I mean, I guess how we do this is... How do we do this MVP of the movie without saying Iman Vellani or Miss Marvel? So I guess I'm going to have to go with Monica, because just her power set alone... I really want to see her with a prime team of Avengers. Like, that's how I feel about her. Like, she's so...
Well...
Hang on. But yeah, she's really good. She looks really good in the role. She's just... I mean, she's kind of rivaling Carol for some of the times, too. Like, her power set is really, really up there. You can tell she was really high on the spectrum. See what I did there?
Man.
Is that the best bit? Them trying to give her a superhero name throughout the movie?
Yeah.
That's solid.
It's pretty good. So they fight Dar-Ben again, and then they,
Because she wants the water now. So she got the atmosphere from whatever planet that the Skrulls were on. Now she wants the water from this planet, and then Oh crap! What's last?
And then, she gets the second bangle.
Yeah. Kamala reveals she's the one. Where did you get that? My grandma
Sent it to me in the mail. So she gets the second bangle and she gets away again.
Mm-hmm.
And Carol's like, "That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had it."
Annihilator activated, and Kamala's like, "Well, maybe if we leave, we can regroup because we're about to die in the spaceship. If you stop going into things so head on." And they all have and then obviously it's the reconcile pre-third acts. Everybody get together, huddle up. Everybody get together. Let's chat for a little bit.
Yep. And
that's the reconcile. We find out that Monica, all she wanted was her aunt to come back. That's it. Even Kamala admits, like, I came on too strong. Like, it was too much for me, but I'm just happy to be with you guys. And, you're incredible as Carol. You're not incredible just because you're Captain Marvel. Like, you're incredible because you're Carol Danvers.
Then they hug.
It's fun.
It's great.
It's sweet.
They go back to the Saber space station, which is...
Yeah, there's an infestation at the space station.
Yeah, the space station's shutting down.
Dar-Ben, oh man, she turns into Doc Ock. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
She's gonna steal the sun?
She's stealing our sun, because Carol puts it together. She's stealing everything from all the people I care about. So what's last? Planet Earth. Ah, crap, we need our sun. It's gonna get mad cold.
Yeah, it's gonna get chilly. So they, Goose is in this movie.
Yeah, Goose is there.
So what happens on the Saber is we can't get all these people off the space station, and then there's these eggs, and they hatch, and it's more kittens.
There's more kittens everywhere.
More flurkins.
Yep. Hilarious sequence.
Great sequence that the flurkins start eating the Saber agents.
Yeah, they figure it out because all the escape pods are they're unable to be used. They're all being destroyed, and everybody's like, well, these flurkin kitties can just eat everybody. And then they save the day. Oh man, it's so funny. The escape pods start going because Dar-Ben's starting to steal the sun. She's doing her best Doc Ock impression. She's stealing the sun. They're all in the escape pods. Oh man, that little bit where it's the Khan family and Nick Fury, and her brother starts praying, and Nick's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Sorry, I was praying." He's like, "No, keep going.
Don't stop now.
Don't stop. Amen." Nick Fury. Should we address the secret invasion thing now?
Yeah.
Who is this?
He's just the funny guy now. That's where his role is now.
I just think he's like a boss that like already maxed out like how much money he can make in a year, and like he's already older, so he's like, I don't care no more. I'm having a good time. I've almost died 89 times. He's just quips now. Exactly.
he filled the void that Tony Stark left behind. Mm-hmm. He's just the quippy guy now.
Black girl magic. Oh, it's just Carol. It's all right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that this is the path that Fury went down.
It's just so abrupt from Secret Invasion.
I know.
It's like the complete opposite of what the whole sell of Secret Invasion was.
I know. Oh,
we didn't need Secret Invasion.
Not at all.
That show didn't do anything because he's the same. He's like the same guy.
So they crash land back on Earth.
And the sun's going.
The sun's leaving. Mm-hmm. So they have one last kind of group meeting, team meeting, and they're like, we got to go stop her. We got to do this. And then, again, we get that really nice moment between Kamala and her family where her mom basically tells her, like, you got to go. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand.
You were chosen by the universe for a reason.
Yeah, so you got to go. And they go. And then we cue... I mean, this is the best fight scene in the movie, right?
Not even, without a second thought. It's awesome. Carol comes in. Carol's like, what's up, Dar-Ben? You ready to catch some hands? Dar-Ben's like, I have 2 quantum bands at this point. What are you going to do? Well, I have 2 other Marvels with me. So what are you going to do? Monica just punch right. I love Monica's MO. Hands. That's her whole MO the whole movie. If Dar-Ben's in any specific spot, Monica lands a right cross to her in like 4 different times. I'm not even joking. There's like 4 times where Dar-Ben's just in a place and Monica just pulls up and just decks her right in the face. It's incredible. But just knocks her out. They get up. It's dun, 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 that point goes. So the 3 of them are together, and then it's like the music cuts, and then like, Kamal throws like the light on the ground, like slides on it, like like Carol, like it's awesome. It's a really good fight sequence.
Tremendous.
It's pretty visceral, which I appreciate. I always like, you know, a little bit more tough and rugged fight sequences. But yeah, they're giving Dar-Benn the hands. Nia's camera movement's really well done. It gave me a lot of vibes of how James Gunn was doing the Suicide Squad too. Those quick close personal, you know, pans and tilts I thought were really, really, really solidly well done. And then Dar-Benn gets stabbed. Man, that was tough. When we went, that got a good ooh out of the crowd. Yeah, that was
everyone went ooh.
That was tough. And Dar-Benn's like, the Annihilator's gonna annihilate. Oh, she should have said that. That would have been funnier. But yeah, she's dead to rights, and she plays to Carol's humanity. She's just like, well, Carol's like, all right, can you stop? Can you give us back the sun?
Yeah, Carol's like, we'll find another way to help Hala. She's like, you will? And Carol's like, yeah, we will. And Dar-Benn's like,
I met Kamala Khan, I'm good.
And then Carol's like, yeah, we will. And Dar-Benn's like, all right.
And then Carol lifts the thing off her. Dar-Benn's like, I'm still a villain of this movie.
I'm still a villain.
I'm the highest.
I love that, actually. Yeah. Because
she went full send into villain.
So many times they do the redemption bit.
And then they'll do the heroic sacrifice at the end.
Yeah. But no, Dar-Benn was like, no.
No, Dar-Benn stood on business. I appreciate it. She stood right up on business. I like it.
I'm actually still the villain.
Yeah, I am the villain of this movie. I'm the top paid villain of this movie. So what did you expect me to do? Hands were going to be had at some point. So she puts the hammer right on Kamala's head. She's just like, I'm going to kill the kid. So what are we going to do?
Also, what's up with the hammer?
I don't know, because Ronan's hammer was
powered by the Power Stone.
Exactly, but this hammer is just a hammer. But you're the universal. What's the universal whatever from Marvel Comics? But
also still looks like it's powered by the Power Stone?
I don't know. I guess
it's powered by the bangle?
No, because it was still doing the stuff without the bangle's help.
I don't know, man. Ask Kawhi. I don't know, man. But yeah. She's like, I'm going to steal the sun now.
Mm-hmm. Goodbye. And then we launch into this Man of Steel-esque go out into space and just punch each other for a bit, which I thought it looked cool. And then, you know, Dar-Benn's like, you know what? I'm taking everything with me. And then just dies.
Yeah.
She couldn't handle the heat.
She's like, I'm going to Wonder Woman smash the bangles together. And Carol's like, don't do it. You're going to explode probably.
Yep. You don't have light-based powers. You can't do that.
You don't have the facilities for that big man.
and then she dies. R.I.P. Dar-Benn.
She does die.
Yeah, she just dies.
She does just die.
Yep. That's it.
Huh.
See you later, Dar-Benn.
But then a greater threat emerges. A big hole.
Yeah. But she tore a hole in space-time.
And then everyone familiar with the multiverse saga went, oh.
Oh, we forgot. We have to actually do this. So, huge hole torn in the sky. Monica's just like, I guess I'll take care of this. So they infuse her with both, so Kamala gets both bangles, infuses her with all that power, because essentially what the plan is she's going to use all the power. She's going to use the light.
Close the hole.
Yeah, she's going to close the hole. She's going to use the light energy from Carol, or the photon energy from Carol, and she's going to use the cosmic weaving of the bangles to turn herself into, Spectrum at this point. Yeah. Without being Spectrum. She won't say it. We know who you are. Goes out into the other side.
Goes Super Saiyan, which was pretty cool. And then Monica goes over the comments just like, I always knew I was going to have to stay. Closes it. Carol's, big Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible, from Dead Reckoning energy. When he was going to save Elsa, Carol's just booking it, trying to save her, and that's it. She's trapped on the other side. In a universe we do not know anything of. Or do we? Or do we? So they land, Kamala lands. Mm-hmm. She's the only one off the ship. And then Fury's like, what happened? And she goes, we lost Monica. Which she could have said that a little bit better.
I just think it was also I thought it was fine.
And then Carol's gone. Carol flew to Hala. Yep. And all the Kree are like, ah!
Oh, no, it's the Annihilator. Help!
No. Help. She's come to destroy us. But she channels her inner Doc Ock. Mm-hmm. And she goes, the power of the sun in the palm of my hands.
Literally, and just reignites their sun. Which she should have done.
Well, she didn't think she could do it.
Is Carol dumb?
Yeah.
Monica's the smart one.
Yeah. Well, Carol didn't think she was powerful enough to do that.
She's just like an ace pilot. That's all she... Yeah.
Carol didn't think she was powerful enough to do it, and then Monica was like, if you just believe in yourself...
She really did do that. She turned herself into Danny Tanner. That was crazy.
if you just believe that you're Captain Marvel, you can power the sun. And she's like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And she does. She powers the sun. So, hilariously, Dar-Benn literally gave her life to give the people of Hala back their planet. And then she dies. And then Captain Marvel's the hero of Hala. And Dar-Benn just gets forgotten about.
I wanted the Reading Rainbow music to play when you said that. That would have been much funnier.
So Dar-Benn just gets forgotten about because Captain Marvel saved us.
Yeah. Thanks, Captain Marvel.
She did it.
She did it. Dar-Benn's in the afterlife. God. They gotta find a way to bring her back, actually. Oh, what if she's like Shocker from like the 90s Spider... Shocker! Annihilator!
Now she has to do a reverse revenge because Captain Marvel saved her planet. So now she has to come back to destroy Hala?
That would actually be incredible. Oh, man. So nice little wrap-up. Obviously, Monica's gone and Maria's gone, so Carol packs up their house, which they're going to move into.
The cons are going to move into, yeah.
Which it seems like, yeah, which is pretty cool.
Because their place got destroyed.
Yeah, now she's going to be close to Sam Wilson. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
I did.
Not even a little bit.
But now you do. Now you do. And yeah, that's the Marvels.
Yeah, Kamala and Carol share a moment in the plane, kind of mirroring Carol's moment with young Monica. And then Kamala's just like, I had an idea to bring together a group of young Avengers. So we just pan into New York City, and we see a window or a door and a dog.
And a dog.
And you're like, wait.
In that door, we see a bow and arrow. And lo and behold, who is it? Kate Bishop. And then who's sitting in the chair in her Kevin Feige hat? The absolute perfect way to use her, too. It's so smart.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So she's just like, wow. Hi, Kate Bishop. You know you're part of a much larger universe. It's incredible.
We do it's the Iron Man Nick Fury bit from Iron Man 1.
It's so smart.
It's so funny.
Yep, she's just like, there's a whole bunch of teen superheroes. I'm actually 23, so.
I love that they acknowledge that. Because everyone for the longest time was like, she's too old to be in the Young Avengers. She's too old.
We know.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, that's the point. She's like the older sister of them.
We know she's too old.
So, yeah, she's just like, well, I'm 23. Well, she's just like, do you want to join? Because Ant-Man also has a daughter. So, thoughts? She's like, why not?
Yeah, so
Hawkeye's deaf now. I can't.
So we get the official Young Avengers setup.
I love the conceit behind it.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is somebody left like the iPad with every hero's information on her couch in her living room.
And she just took it.
She just took it and turned it into Nick Fury.
It's pretty great. I love that. It was funny. It was really funny. And then
alright. And then the movie ended. No post-credit scene.
Of course there's a post-credit scene.
Come on.
Monica wakes up
in a random hospital, not a futuristic, but a very high-tech hospital bed.
Yep.
And who's sitting next to her?
Her mom.
Mom, is that you? Oh, and then that was by far the best that Teyonah Parris was in the whole movie. It was very raw. She's like, Mom, like started crying, like it was great. And Maria's like, who are you? What are you talking? I don't have any children. What are you talking about? And then who walks by?
Well, we hear a voice first.
Yeah. How is our patient doing? And lo and behold, it's Kelsey Grammer's Beast, which got a very, 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 very good reaction from everybody in the crowd on that opening night.
And he just started saying some
science. He started doing the science that Beast does. It's great.
With his little glasses.
And his lab coat. And you could see, and I have some theories about this, you can see that 90s costume Beast costume right under that lab coat. And Maria takes off her blanket that she was wearing, and she's got the binary suit on,
and she's got both the bangles, both quantum bands.
Yep.
So she's binary, and Beast is like, you did a time travel, you did a dimension travel,
which shouldn't even be able to happen, but here you are. Where are you from?
And then Monica said, "You didn't see Doctor Strange too, did you, Beast?" We've been known that you could do this.
Come on, buddy. We thought you were the smart one. Like, come on. You should know. And then Maria's like, who the heck are you? And Monica's like, crap. And that's it. That's the Marvel.
It was a fun time.
It was a fun time. Fun, fast-paced, action-to-action sequence. couple emotional bits, not as much as I would have liked, but you got a couple. The movie flows pretty smoothly, I would say.
Yeah.
I do have my gripes and my issues, but are we back? That's a question for another day.
That's a question
a
for
much
another
larger
day.
question. But yeah, it's fine. It's fun. It's cool. It's not offensive. Like I said, if this movie came out from 2014 to 2019, everybody would be all over this movie.
It's got some really unique elements to it,
Mm-hmm.
which I always appreciate in these Marvel movies
Mm-hmm.
when they do something a little bit different from the others. And this definitely did that. Took some swings, which I appreciated. I really liked it. I liked it a lot better than the first Captain Marvel movie. It's the best Brie Larson's ever been in the role. Iman Vellani obviously just had her fingerprints all over it. Teyonah Parris was really, really good. I think the best thing you can say after seeing a movie like this is like, I want to see more from these characters.
But in the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the Marvels. We should do something we haven't done in a while.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's give them out.
We'll keep it simple though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is actually the best one. What's the best character that doesn't need to be in this movie? That was a great category that we added. It's Darben's right hand man.
Yeah. What's that guy's name?
I don't know, but also he's also the best NPC in the. No. I actually take that back. I have a way better NPC. Saddest moment.
Saddest moment.
It's when Carol, when they were trying to do so basically when they were trying to find the planets that Darben was going after, or where Darben was going, it was the same thing from the first Captain Marvel movie with the mind thing, where they can use that device, that Kree device, or that scroll. I can't remember whose it was.
There's a Kree device, yeah.
Kree device, and they're going through all of their memories, and Carol can't get off of the memories with Maria and Monica when she was a kid. That was sad. And then they all hugged.
Yeah. Man, I think Monica's sacrifice kind of hits. Especially like when you build into the whole Captain Marvel thing where like she doesn't lose,
Mm-hmm. She does usually find a way.
Yeah, so I think it was, that was tough. Just because, Monica kind of not got one up on her, but she was, she kind of always knew that she wasn't coming back, and she didn't tell Carol. Kind of mirroring kind of how Monica felt about Carol to begin with. Like, Carol said she was going to come back and then didn't, and then Monica, they thought she was going to come back and then she didn't.
Yep. Best relationship?
Carol and Monica. Nope.
It's the Khan family.
Yeah.
Oh, I take that back. It's the Khan family and Nick Fury. It's the actual best relationship in this movie. Most heroic moment, Monica's sacrifice.
Monica's sacrifice, yeah.
Without a doubt. Best bit?
Nick Fury just doing anything.
Yeah, Nick Fury being
the quippy guy.
Yeah, being quippy Nick Fury.
But also them Kamala trying to give Monica a superhero name.
That's fun. It lasts the whole time. Best favorite cameo?
Beast?
Yeah, it's Beast. Let's not beat around the bush.
Honorable mention to Valkyrie, though.
Yeah,
I did like that.
Best set?
I like the water planet a lot.
Yeah, Haladna. I finally remember what it was. I do like, and this is going to sound stupid, but I did really like the Khan house, just because of the way you have to, like, as a movie maker, you have to operate an action sequence, and obviously it's a set. Yeah. But I'm always, you know me, like those things I always think are pretty cool. And,
yeah.
The definition of movie magic. So, best heat check performance?
I mean,
is it Kamala's brother?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, man, he doesn't do a ton, but like that's kind of the point.
Or is it Kamala's mom? I think it is Kamala's mom.
I think it is Kamala's mom.
Because she hits all the beats. She's funny. She has those emotional beats. She's a motivator. She gives Kamala a lot of motivation.
She's kind of like the embodiment of everything that we loved about the show.
Yeah. Yep.
That kind of like she's kind of at the core of the humanity of it all. And yeah, she is funny also, but like she really hits those emotional moments really, really hard.
I agree 100%. Best NPC? It was Monica's buddy, that never gives good news.
Yes.
Can't remember his name. He said, it's never too late or it's never too early to start your life insurance. How old are you? 306. That guy was funny.
Do you have some good news?
We lost all of our escape pods. That is not good news. Best song?
The Beastie Boys.
Was it? Or was it the one where they went into the room to go find the prince on Haladna?
The actual song? They actually sung in the movie?
Yeah, the guy. Because he looked at Monica and she's like, you can look a little cheery. And I was like, that's good. I like that. Best world building or lore moment? Do I just keep humming the X-Men theme? Like, is that what I'm going to do the whole time? I think it's the idea of what the incursions could be in the future.
Okay.
I think it's this, or I guess it is the Young Avengers. For me, it would be the Young Avengers, but...
Yeah. And, I mean, there's stuff that, like, we're probably never going to get.
What's one of the... I think one of the major misses of the MCU, and I mean, we're probably going to get it back when we get to the X-Men, because I have a feeling that the X-Men and Fantastic Four are going to be more travelers in the MCU versus they're very Earth-based in the Fox universe. The Kree-Skrull War itself was never, like... They had to do a whole Avengers famous arc just to get the whole ideal of the Kree-Skrull War. Like, it's such this massive thing that's happening. Carol even says that, like, the Kree colonized 25%, conquered 25% of the universe. 25% is crazy.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So...
It's 1/4.
That's 1/4. And these people had so much beef with just the Skrulls. Like, that's how bad it got. Like... That's why I said, like, it should have went Avengers Secret Invasion and then Avengers Kree-Skrull War would have played, in my opinion.
That's why I like that one bit where the Skrull guy was like, they were here to discuss a peace treaty, and Carol was like, no, they were not.
No, you idiot. What are you talking about? You gotta know, you gotta do better, Senator.
You gotta do better, Emperor.
Favorite performance?
That's not Iman Vellani.
Yeah, that's a conceit.
I would say... it's either Teyonah Parris or, honestly, probably Brie Larson.
I spoiled. I'm gonna go Teyonah Parris. Like I said, I where she would have fit the best? I don't know how this makes sense. She would have fit really well in Age of Ultron. Not like, obviously the character wouldn't make any sense in Age of Ultron, but like how kind of, that movie started to dive into some of the darker tones. Yeah. I feel like that's where her character will benefit the most, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Infinity War as well too, like those darker toned Avengers movies. Like I feel like Teyonah Parris or I feel like Monica would be really good in those because the way she fights, like she's capable, she's tough. Like that's exactly how I appreciate it. So, your favorite shot? Is there cinema in this movie? Not as much as I would have liked.
I did like the shot of, it's the close up shot of Monica right before she gets sealed off. And it's kind of got like all the colors in front of her while she's, kind of like reconciling with the fact that she's not going to go back. I kind of like that. That was kind of a nice shot to me.
Yeah. That shot of Dar-Benn was cool. Like when she's about to die. That shot is kind of... I do like when Carol is just, her and Dar-Benn are just duking it out in space. Yeah. Like that is pretty cool too. And then, our favorite moment from the movie.
I think right before, it segues into like our, whatever my favorite line would be was right before they go on the last mission. Kamal's mom tells her, "You're chosen for a greater purpose, so you must go, but I will never let you go." Mm-hmm. That's it. Like that's the moment. That's the heart of the movie.
That's the thing.
Like Kamala is the heart of the movie. All right.
Do more of that. Do more of that, Marvel. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
That's what made Guardians 3 work incredibly well. It's what made both Black Panthers work.
Yeah.
Any of those top movies. It always has something like that in there too. So, and that's the Marvels.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good fun time. I don't know when we're going to see Captain Marvel again. Don't know when we're going to see Spectrum again. Assuming we're going to see Ms. Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Nope, that's taken. Vision. Nope, doesn't work. Captain Photon. Professor Marvel.
And then she's like...
He said, whoop. Spectrum. Lady Spectrum. He said, none of these are hitting.
I'm
I did
assuming
like the scene where they were learning their like where they finally,
that was tremendous.
that was where they were finally learning how to all
the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Now that little part where they were doing the hops, or they were doing the double dutch, and Kamala wouldn't jump in. She's like, "Give me a second, I got it. I'll get there."
I'm assuming Kamala's the next we're gonna see next, right?
Yeah, because
out of the three of them,
I would probably do a Miss Marvel season 2. I would probably expedite that a little bit because you are full sent on this. If you're gonna do this TV thing and you're gonna keep going, I think Loki is a really good attest to keep the seasons running. Like, treat these as actual television shows instead of things you need to see to get to somewhere. They still should be encompassing of their own thing. So I do think you do a season 2.
I would do a season 2 of Ms. Marvel, but have it be her and Kate Bishop.
Yep, I think that would be, or her, Kate Bishop, and Cassie Lang would probably be. I would do the 3 of them to start, and then you segued that right into your Young Avengers movie.
Like, I would love that. Like, I would love even if like the first half of Ms. Marvel season 2 is her and Kate Bishop kind of being in the situation that Hawkeye was in.
I love it. Yep, that would make a lot of sense. Also, that would be really cool for Kamala because she would be, you know what that would play like? It would play a lot like Miles Morales in Spider-Man 2, the video game, because where's he going? He's about to go to college, just like Kamala was. I think that would play really well of, like, you know, Kate just got out of college. She's going to play the Hawkeye role that she just got out of being the fangirl over somebody. And then Kamala, you know, going from New York and back to Jersey City. They're like, where are you going? Like, you're not a vigilante. I would also really like that. Like, you know, you're this huge hero that saved Jersey City, but, like, what else is there to save? Like, are you just going to go patrolling the streets every night? Like, or are you going to get the rest of your life started? Like, I think that's what I want to see for Kamala Khan. Like, what's next? Like, are you an Avenger? Like, there's no Avengers right now. So, like, what is your thing right now? Like, what crime are you what crime are you stopping? Like, what's the thing? So.
Yeah. And then it's for when we're going to see Spectrum again.
That's going to get kind of interesting, and I have a very strong theory of where I think we're going to see her again, and I think that's going to be in Doctor Strange 3 will be the next time we see Monica Rambeau.
And then I'm assuming Captain Marvel's probably not showing up until Avengers, right?
Well, this brings about
or Captain America 4.
Well, you know my theory on what I think Captain America 4 is going to... I think Captain America 4 is going to have the formation of the new Avengers, which would entail having Captain Marvel there, so... Because what did I say? Ant-Man, Wasp, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Captain America, who else? Hulk, Doctor Strange. I don't even think Doctor Strange would be on that lineup. I think it would be, and Bucky would be on that. No. Bucky would not be on that Avengers team because he's going to go be a Thunderbolt.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that could be the next time we see her is in Captain America 4. Even if so, there's a very big possibility, or it's a probability she won't be in that movie. So
yeah,
it actually might be whatever the spoiler alert replacement for Kang Dynasty is probably going to be, because Kang Dynasty probably is going to be completely reworked into something else.
Yeah.
Do you do Dark Reign for Avengers 5?
You could.
Because because the whole thing, it seems like is if we're going to do the Thunderbolts would lead right into Dark Reign. But But is the Thunderbolts Dark Reign itself? Like, is that already what the movie is? That's the question. Or, and I had actually, what might play, do you just do Avengers versus X-Men and have the Avengers from the MCU fight the X-Men from not 838, you have them fight them from whatever the universe that Beast just came from?
Yeah.
Does that play better as a...
Probably. That probably makes $1 million.
So essentially what you do is you essentially mix... time run, like Hickman's time runs out and Avengers vs. X-Men, and you make them one story, and then you do the battle. Like, essentially what you could do is you can do the 84 Secret Wars in there, or 86 Secret Wars in there, and do the Battle Worlds, but the Battle World is the Fox X-Men universe with the Fox Fantastic Four, with Daredevil, with Blade, with the MC, like, now whoever the Beyonder now we don't know, and well, we're going to talk about this in a separate episode, because this brings about a infinitely larger conversation.
Or have talked about it in a separate episode, depending on when I put this one out.
True. This is almost as low levels of egregious as when we did the Batman and we lied about seeing the movie.
We either will talk about it or we have talked about it.
Yeah, the world may never know. Time travel.
Time travel. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this The Marvels review. You can follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. I'm amazed I remember the handle after it's been so long. You can follow us on Instagram
At the Project Infinite Pod.
Thank you so much. Yeah, either you will hear this before or after our latest episode in which we talked about most of the stuff that we missed. I'm not going to say all, because all is a lot.
Yeah.
But a lot of the heavy things that we kind of missed, namely the all the shakeups at Marvel, obviously the strike reconciling, and then just other movie news and notes that we haven't had a chance to talk about with you guys. So stay tuned for that, or hopefully you enjoyed it if we have already put it out.
Yep. And thank you to the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. Shout out to you guys. Got what you deserved. I still think you guys deserve anything and everything, because you guys, all the content that we love runs through you guys, and that's just the truth of the matter. So it's good to be back.
It is good to be back. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Peace.